Today we're going to talk about greed. Is greed good? Was Gordon Gekko right? Watch this episode from the movie, The Wall Street, and let me remind you what he says here.
I am not a destroyer of companies. I am a liberator of them.
The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
So what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Is greed good? Well, we'll find out today on episode 4 of the 10 Toxic Leadership Habits right here on HankGroffTV. Great to have you guys on the channel today. And if you haven't already, I'd ask you to go ahead and like the episode. If you do like it at the end, go ahead and subscribe and make sure you share this with others. I think they can get a lot of value out of it. Okay, let's get started. Today we are covering episode 4 of the series, The 10 Toxic Leadership Habits That Poison Tribes and Teams. No one disputes that greed can be found in all walks of life, let's face it. But when do we see greed showing up in our society? Let's talk about it. I've got a couple ones that I've posted down here, and let's look at them together. Quarterly, business, optics versus mission. Here's the problem with that. A lot of times we all know that in the quarterly business meetings, we focus more on what the profitability was than where's the mission, the long-term mission of the company to bring value to our consumers. What about in politics? Politics, point scoring versus policy. Like the government shutdown that just happened. Recently, if you're watching this, we just had a government shutdown. The longest in history, a lot of bickering, a lot of fighting. Instead of becoming ladies and gentlemen and being public servants, what happened? It was a bunch of children fighting. And then finally, church campaigns versus discipleship. I've seen it. I've been a pastor, and I can share there's more money for the shepherd at the expense of the sheep. Watch this video where preachers are bragging. This is unbelievable, about the money that helps them spread the message. That's what they call it. But watch what happens here as Jesse Duplantis and Kenneth Copeland go bragging.
From his Louisiana headquarters, Duplantis is among a group of televangelists who preach that their wealth is God's will.
This preys upon the poorest people that want or need money badly, where they're told if they give money, God's going to bless them 100-fold.
Duplantis lives in a 35,000 square foot mansion, tax-free.
He's asking everybody who has less than he has to pay for this jet, and I don't get that, you know?
Fellow televangelist Kenneth Copeland recently bought a $36 million Gulfstream 5 jet. The two have commiserated about how they can't fly or pray with commercial airline passengers.
This dope-filled world, right? Get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
Right, that's exactly that.
And it's deadly.
Did you hear that? He just called human beings that are flying out to see family serving our country demons, that we're in a tube with a bunch of demons. It's unbelievable. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when greed hijacks ministry. Here are some sad but true leadership statistics. Listen to these. I'm going to read these off. Stat 1, 68% of organizational scandals stem from leaders prioritizing short-term gains over ethical standards. Stat number 2, over 60% of employee disengagement is linked to leadership decisions driven by greed or optics rather than mission. Stat number 3, 70% of leadership failures can be traced back to ego-driven decisions, often fueled by greed and short-term optics. It's obvious greed is not good. I think we can all agree with that. No pun intended, but greed is not good. And listen, if you don't believe it from me, I'll even pull in, as you know, here at HankGroffTV, we focus on how to build better leadership, how to build better leaders, how to make an impact in this world. But I always take this information from the 52 years that I have, read scriptures, biblical references, and I believe that is the gold standard. And let me read you a scripture, what says in 1 Timothy 6:10, it's from the NIV version. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. that it directly addresses greed as a spiritual and leadership poison. It's poison. It's poison. So now that you know what the poison is, grasping for optics, applause, and position at the expense of people, of the hearts of the people. So now if that's the poison, what is the antidote? What do we do as a cure to stop this? Let me read you a couple more scriptures. Check this out. Proverbs 11:28, again from the NIV version. Those who trust in their riches, let's call it greed, will fail. But the righteous, known as what we like to call here servant leadership, will thrive like a green leaf. Did you hear that? Will thrive like a green leaf. There's an infusion of life in that when we live as servant leaders. Here's another one, Matthew 20, verses 26 through 28. Not so with you. This is what Christ himself wrote. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your, what was the word? Servant. And whomever wants to be first must be your slave. Did you hear that? Slave, servant, slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. That's powerful. The antidote is this. It's serving, stewarding, thinking beyond today. That is the mark of a true leader, and one that Simon Sinek talks about here. Watch this. I'm going to show you this video because it's truly powerful.
I also know people at low levels of organizations that have no formal authority, but they've made a choice. The choice to look after the person to the left of them, the choice to look after the person to the right of them, and we would trust them and follow them anywhere. Leadership is the awesome responsibility to see those around us rise. Every one of us, can choose to be the leader we wish we had. We lead our teams and we can lead our clients when we decide that we will do everything in our power to see them rise, to see them achieve their ambitions and their dreams. And this is what servant leadership means. I serve your dream rather than you serve my bottom line.
That's it. There's the power. He's a great guy, by the way. Fantastic. If you don't listen to him, I would encourage you to listen to his channel, Simon Sinek. And he is one of the guys I believe in because he shares it better than anyone else. This week, I heard a broadcast about how Jesus washed the disciples' feet. It's not like the clean feet we have today. 2,000 years ago, could you imagine the dirt? Listen, I've been to Israel. In one of our previous episodes, I shared some of the pictures that I brought back in 1996. Excuse me. In 1996, I went to visit Israel and brought back a few pictures. And I want to just say to you that it's modern now, but you should imagine what the roads looked like 2,000 years ago. Imagine the fecal matter of donkeys and horses as they walk down the dirt streets. It was disgusting. And it's the role of the person who washed the feet at the dinner time was for the lowest of the low valued people. But listen, as Joby Martin of 1122 tells the story, and he calls it from be strong, stand firm, and act like men. I want you to watch this clip where he says, and Jesus is like a servant. Watch this.
And Jesus is like, I'm going to show you how much I love you. And he gets up, the King of Kings, the sovereign ruler of the universe. There's not one square inch in all of the cosmos where Jesus doesn't rightly declare mine. And he does not stand up and be like, you see this name tag? It says Son of God. You'll do what I say. It's not what he does. He dresses himself as a servant. And he takes the lowest role and he washes their feet. And nobody even tries to take it from him. Nobody's even like, oh, let me do this. He sits back down at the table and he says, you realize what I've done for you? And he says, I have set for you an example and you will be blessed if you do likewise. Even as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. Okay, there is not a one-to-one correlation in the 21st century of washing feet.
So powerful, isn't it? You can see here where he says that He is willing to give a ransom for many. He is willing to be a servant. We leaders, and I'm talking about you, are to live your life the way that this man did, who loved and served the way Jesus loved and served. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing, as the leader of your organization, whether that be a business, a military battalion, a church, even a sports team, coaches? I hope some of our NFL coaches are watching, or college or high school. It's really important. Speaking of that, in sports, let me share with you one of the impacts that was to me as an individual who really was involved in serving so many men throughout, I would say, a 30, 40-year period. His name is Butch Simpson, and he is one of the winningest football coaches in Delaware, the state of Delaware history, with 9 state football championships. But he didn't care about titles. Recently, he and I were chatting on the phone. I went up to visit my family in Delaware for my birthday, and he's always talking about the coaches, and he always brings up people in his past. He has an incredible memory, and he just valued everyone, from the guy who was the most popular to the guy who he says the name, and you're like, I don't even remember who that guy was. Did he even play football for us? But he remembers every one of them. And, I even want to just brag for a minute here. And he talked about a painting that I did back in 1982 when I was getting ready to be a senior and play football that year. I went over to a wall that before had said Death Valley 1969. And that year, because we all believed we were going to be great, we changed it to Death Valley 1982. I put my initials on it. In fact, let me go ahead and just talk it here, and I'll mention, and I'll let you watch the video to see the impact it even made me as I walked towards this wall. Check this out. In 1982, this was the wall that I came out one summer and painted. This was testament to a great football legacy with Mr. Butch Simpson. 10 state championships from 1976 until 2015 when he retired. God bless you, Butch. We'll miss you. So he actually was involved in 10 state championships as a head coach, 9, and one additional one as a assistant coach. If we are to be great leaders on this earth, we have to be servants first, okay? Just like Coach Simpson and just like Christ. Hank, you may ask, what do I need to do to make these changes? Let me give you some moves here that you can make. I like to call them the battle moves. We talk a lot about this in our non-for-profit TMF-Warrior. If you haven't followed us, you can type in TMF Warrior on YouTube or check out our site, tmf-warrior.com. You can learn more about what it means to be a warrior, especially for you men. But here's the warrior playbook, and here's 3 battle moves. 1, confess. Have you been greedy? We all have. I certainly have had my share. First, confess to God. Trust me, greed does not look good on you and breaks his heart. If necessary, confess publicly to the people that it's affected negatively and earn their trust back. 2, install a guardrail. What triggers cause you to get greedy? Get them out of your life. Get them out now. If it's money, if it's fame or fortune, get it out. And then lastly, practice 1 visible antidote behavior. Do a servant act. Reach out. Maybe it's somebody at your church. Maybe it's a needy single mom and children. Do something to get that selfishness, that narcissism, and that greed out of your life. Focus on helping others. Remember, guardrails matter because unchecked, greed destroys credibility. That is so important. So let me give you a CTA, a call to action stack. Do this for me, okay? Follow the battle moves, and then also, 1, subscribe to our channel and share it with others. We so appreciate the leaders out there. There's such a need. I think back to some of the great books I've written, had read, Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. These are some powerful books. And what did they have in common? These were great men who wrote books that were infused with the power of God's word to make us better husbands, wives, fathers, and mothers, servants and leaders. If we're going to be better people on this earth, if we're going to be, I like to call it shakers of salt and shiners of light, we've got to make some changes in our life. Okay. By the way, if you haven't ever done this, would you do me a favor? Would you leave a comment? Where have you seen this Poison Harmon tribe or team? Don't embarrass anyone, but maybe you can share your story or just, an anecdote about something that happened that started the healing. And maybe it was your own personal life. Also, if you haven't already done so, you can check out our TMF Warrior new blogs. We put them out at tmf-warrior.com. If you want to sign up for that newsletter, you can. And lastly, if you are looking for any kind of leadership speaking, I'm available. You can go ahead and contact me on our site at HankGroffTV. You can leave a contact information down there. And also, you can go to HankGroff.com and leave me a contact. You want to know more about my speaking engagements, be happy to chat with you and tell you more about what we do there to transform people to be the best you that this world will ever know. Hope you enjoy this episode. Get ready. Next week, episode 5. You won't want to miss it. God bless you.